You ever stop to think, is he using me? Many of us are in relationships and we struggle with the ideal of our partner being really genuine to us. So, here are 6 signs to tell if you are in a relationship that is equally reciprocated or if you're just being used inappropriately. And make sure you stay around for the 6th sign because it's the biggest red flag of them all. But before we start, I want to say, hey, Trauma Free Tribe. I am Sia, the transparent therapist, coaching you to stress less so you can connect more. In this video, I want to break down how you can identify these 6 signs in your relationship. The truth is, though, we all use someone to a certain extent. Some of us use people for knowledge, some of us use people for camaraderie, just like how you use a teacher to gain some skills, or you might use a friend for comfort. It's okay to use people, but it's only okay for using them appropriately. So, let me give you some signs to see if in a relationship you're being used inappropriately or appropriately. It doesn't feel good when we're in a relationship and it doesn't feel like we are in a reciprocal exchange, right? So perhaps one of the very first signs you can look for is if your partner keeps score frequently and they point out every wrong thing you do. Typically, when your partner is doing this, it's because they want to make sure that they're on the leaderboard, meaning that it doesn't matter if you're giving and they're taking, they want to just make sure that you can never one up them. So, identifying if this person is keeping score to make sure that they are ahead of the game could be a sign that the love you share or even the exchanges you share are not equally reciprocated. The second sign is recognizing if your partner respects your boundaries or not. Do they care enough to acknowledge your boundaries? Are they considerate of your feelings, what you want, your needs? Or are they more so just making any effort to get their needs heard and not your own? Sometimes you'll find yourself in relationships where that partner is just always talking. And they never stop to say, like, hey, babes, are you okay? Or, hey, did you have a good day? And what they'll do is they'll overstep your boundaries. And that boundary might look like, hey, I need a check in every once in a while, but they might not care about that, right? Or that boundary might be like, hey, I don't like it when you do that. Could you do it a little less? And they might not adhere to it. That's a sign, and a really good sign that tells you, like, hey, that partner might just be using you for something outside of what you need. Now, if you are enjoying this video thus far, I want you to go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Hit that like button, the notification bell, so that you don't ever miss any tip when we're trying to have you connect more with your loved ones and your friends. Another sign to look out for is just them constantly sweet talking you with nothing to back it up. Or I'm going to do 3.5, they're constantly sweet talking you and they have everything to back it up and just solely trinkets, but not so much emotional support. Now, we have people who are very emotionally distant and all they know how to do is gift give because that's their love language for giving, right? But when we're in a relationship, we have to understand that the reciprocity comes in when I say, hey, I need something and you can give it to me, not just physically, but emotionally. Sure, gifts are great, but if you're in a relationship and you don't talk to that man, not even once out of the week, but ever so often he's just showering you with gifts, it might be a red flag. It might tell you that he's only using you for something. Okay. Now, it's not to say that your partner can't get you nice things, but it's important to note that if they can't meet you in other areas or domains of your needs, like, hey, I need a date every once in a while, or can you pray with me? Hey, can you just talk me through this hard day that I had at work, and they have no time for you, but they can just give you gifts, sis, you better watch out. The fourth possible sign is that they fail to deliver on the promises that they've given you, but they also expect you to deliver on yours. Okay. So let's say you're in a relationship and this man offers you something grandiose, like, hey, I'm going to buy you a house, I'm buying you this new car. And even if it's something small, like, hey, I'm going to bring you on a date, and they fall through on it, They might start saying, like, well, you don't ever do anything for me. And you might be like, hold on, but I just washed your car the other day. This is a sure tell sign that they want you to always do for them, but they cannot deliver for you, especially if they have the audacity to ask you to do something. But whenever you ask, it feels like you're breaking their back, right? Just the other day, I had a client and they told me like, hey, I have this partner and he expects me to do all these things for him. But at the moment I ask him to do something, he starts to gaslight me in a sense and say, I never do anything. And I'm thinking like, hey, I just did this big thing for you. These are signs, sure tell signs to let you know that there's something up in your relationship and you probably should get some help. They prioritize other people before they prioritize time with you. Time and time again, we might go through the motions of saying, like, hey, I only see my man on this day, or I only see my partner on this day, which is fine, right? But let's say that day comes and they're like, hey, hon, sorry, I'm going out with the boys tonight. And you're thinking, like, hold on, this is the only day of the week I get to see you. What's up with that? Given reason, people sometimes do have emergencies come up. But if they are always prioritizing time for others outside of you and only come to you when they need something, sis, you know there's something up, okay? The biggest sign yet, number 6, how to tell if you're being used in your relationship is if you feel like you're being used in your relationship. You're not dumb, sis, right? Sometimes we have these inklings. Sometimes people say woman's intuition that lets us know, like, ooh, something's a little off. And if something's a little off, it probably is a little off. And so, what I like to tell people is to pray for wisdom, right? In James 1:5, it tells us that if we ask the Lord for wisdom, He'll give it to us without fault, meaning that we don't have to be perfect, right? He wants to willingly give us the knowledge. So all you have to do is ask God, like, hey, is my man cheating on me? Is my man not here for me enough? Is my man just using me? And guess what? God is going to let you know. It's just up to you to be receiving of the word that God downloads into you. So if you feel like being used, you're probably being used. Okay. If you enjoyed these tips, I want you to download my Red Flags workshop. Best workshop, completely free. It's in the description box. It comes with a worksheet. It gives you red and green flags to let you know if you're in a toxic relationship. And this just goes hands in hand. If you know or feel like you're being used, it's probably best for you to also understand the signs of a toxic relationship. In the guide and the workshop, I promise you'll discover something that you probably haven't thought about. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, make sure you subscribe, click the like button, tell a friend to tell a friend to watch this video, send this video to a friend. All right. Walk good, keep the vibes high, and click the next video. Bye.